Just a couple months ago, I had a house full of gnats, and I'm honestly not kidding. On an average day, I would try to kill 5 gnats. And I say try because most of those attempts were embarrassingly unsuccessful. But that's all thankfully in the past, and all the gnats are gone. And today I'm going to let you know how I got rid of all the gnats, including all the drama that I went through to get to this point. Hello, my name is Balisa. Welcome to Plants and Things, where I talk about plants and things. So I have my Ficus elastica Tinec with me because this plant, absolutely every single gnat remedy that I tried on this plant, and it's extremely hardy, honestly, because it's been through it with this whole gnat thing, and it's still standing and it's going strong. I do want to say it does still look dirty. I did say a couple of months ago when I did my whole pink plant collection video that I was going to clean it, and I still am going to clean it in the future. So this year has been yearing, and I'm like looking here in some spider webs. So this is saying a lot, but anyway, I will clean this plant one of these days. So I have it here, as I said, because it's been through the whole like gnat-free journey with me. Anyway, to give background and context on this whole gnat thing, because it really was the bane of my existence at a point, and those who know about these gnat things. So I didn't have gnats when I began collecting plants, and this all changed, I think, when I bought plants from this online seller. And I don't regret getting the plants from her because some plants are really very difficult to find, especially like if you're getting into rarer plants. The plants I got from her was the Syngonium alba, which I love, and my CBB Plothos, and this variegated peace lily, which are plants that I like and will keep in my collection. And I think also a lot of times when you are wanting to get rarer plants, you will have to buy plants from like random people, and I think that's completely fine. But what was not fine was how I handled the whole situation. So I got the plants from her, and I brought them, and the soil wasn't looking too good to begin with. But I was like, I'm sure it's chilled. I'm sure it's fine, you know? And I brought the plants in, and then I started seeing the gnats, such that like when I would water the plants, you know, the gnats would come off, and it was a whole annoying mess. And by that time, I then tried to like remove the soil from the plants that were more affected. But of course, by that time, everything is affected. Like, the problem with gnats is they literally will go to all the plants. And I think this is actually not even just gnats, like pests in general will go everywhere. And so my first tip that I would tell myself back then is that you should isolate plants that are coming in. Like, even if you buy plants from a reputable seller, I think you should isolate them first, and then also apply whatever your like gnat-free or pestilent remedy is, as though the plant had that. Like, so I think you should do a preventative thing before bringing those plants in with the other plants, because they will, once they infect all the plants, it's such a huge problem. So you'd rather do that. And so I don't really have like huge space, but I think I should have done that. And that's my first tip generally, is if you're going to get plants, isolate them, provide pestilence or whatever you use to take the stuff away, and then you can bring them in and you know for sure that they don't have gnats or whatever. Thankfully, I haven't dealt with a lot of other pests, but yes. So that is my first tip, and that is a thing that I didn't do. So the first thing then that I tried to do now reactively was remove the soil, and I think I did it with the plants that were most affected. But then, like I said, everything was affected. So the whole thing with the soil removal was that I would take the plant out of the soil, wash it, and throw the soil away, and then put in fresh soil. And this is where I laughed at myself, because I'm like, I think at that point, even the soil mixture probably had gnats in it. So I just was running myself ragged in circles, probably for nothing. And also, even after like I'm bringing in the plant with fresh soil, I'm putting it with other plants that are infected with gnats, and so then it would get reinfected. So I definitely do not recommend taking soil out as a solution unless you have one plant. But even then, I'm like, I don't think it is an effective solution to getting rid of gnats. So that is what I tried first. Next, I tried out hydrogen peroxide, and I have explained in a previous video how I almost killed my peace lily using hydrogen peroxide from a lab, but that's neither here nor there. The whole hydrogen peroxide solution is that you mix 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 4 parts water, and you use that solution to water your plants. And it's supposed to kill the gnat larva, which is all good and well, except for the fact that the adult larva is going around, the female adult larva is going around laying 100 to 150 eggs a week. So you're basically working against that. And the biggest problem with this hydrogen peroxide solution is that it also kills beneficial bacteria. So it's not a solution you can use perpetually, because of course plants need beneficial bacteria. That's stuff like you would put with your fertilizer. You're adding beneficial bacteria. So it's not something you can use perpetually. And so because of that, it's like by the time you're doing your next hydrogen peroxide solution, you have more eggs being laid, growing, becoming adult larvae. So I do not think that that's an effective solution, and for me personally it was not. Though I will concede that it did reduce the number of, it probably did reduce the population of gnats in the home, but it honestly was a lot, and it almost killed a couple of plants, and I do not recommend that solution personally. But if you have found success in the sense that it has actually killed it has effectively taken care of your gnats, please, by all means, let us know in the comments below. So after the whole hydrogen peroxide thing, my favorite planty YouTuber has this thing where she mixes diatomaceous earth with water in a pressurized water sprayer and then puts it on the plant's leaves. Now, I had used diatomaceous earth before, and that whole thing did not work out for me previously, because the problem with diatomaceous earth is that it only effectively kills insects when it is dry. That is the only time it works. It does not work when it is wet, which of course, putting diatomaceous earth on the leaves is an effective solution. To me, I don't think that the splatters, because right now this leaf has splatters. These leaves have splatters of diatomaceous earth, and I do not think that would be effective to kill the gnats. But I tried that. I went and I tried that, and honestly, the pressurized water sprayer didn't work. It just clogged up because it's basically like I'd made mud in it. So there was that. And then I got annoyed, and then I just started putting teaspoons of diatomaceous earth on the soil and working really, really hard to keep the soil dry, to let the soil dry out, which, life is kind of intense. So that was helpful because I haven't generally been watering my plants as much as I would normally. But in doing that, I created a problem because now all my plants have clogged up soil. So every time I try to water these plants, this is a prime example. Every time I try to water them, the soil sits on top of the water. The water sits on top of the soil and then bubbles down. So basically all my plants need to be repotted because diatomaceous earth has clogged all the little air pockets. So it's a classic situation of solving a problem by creating another problem. So would I recommend diatomaceous earth? No. I've tried it twice and I really do not think it works. I do again want to say that it did reduce the population, especially putting diatomaceous earth on the soil and then having it dry out. So those in between dry times, because obviously only the top layer needs to be dry and the soil dries from the top down. So it did work. It did probably further reduce the population, but it did not get rid of all the gnats. So I don't think it's an effective solution if you're trying to get rid of all the gnats. If you're trying to maintain a balance of gnats, then maybe. Then my favorite planty YouTuber, who is Holly G, by the way, I don't think I mentioned that, spoke about mosquito bits and how she used to put them in the soil and how she stopped putting them in the soil and how the gnats returned. She stopped putting them in the soil because they'd run out of mosquito bits. And Then I went and researched mosquito bits, and I went on Reddit threads. Like, I went deep. I went deep in the research. But there are no mosquito bits in South Africa, and I even went to those websites that like import stuff, and I think I was so deranged at that point, like so annoyed about the gnats, that I think to get like 100 grams of mosquito bits was going to cost 6,000 rand, like something crazy like that. And 6,000 rand is like $300. It was really crazy, and I was just like, I was done. I was done with the gnats. But anyway, I went into this thread about mosquito bits, and I read up on it, and I saw that the active ingredient is this thing called BTI, which I'm not going to try pronounce. But then I went and I researched like products that are available in South Africa that have BTI, and I found this product, and I hope that's where the thing's going to be. I hope my editing skills are that great. So anyway, I found a product, and I will put it somewhere. I found that product, and it has BTI as the active ingredient, and I bought it, and it's like 200 rand, which is about $10, and I bought it, and I use it. How you use it? So with the Reddit threads, because they were talking about mosquito bits, they were saying like use the mosquito bit as a tea, and like soak it in the water and let it sit overnight. Thankfully, in the Republic of South Africa, the BTI is in powder form, and so you basically just teaspoon. Why am I obsessed with teaspoons? They give you a little teaspoon and then you put it in the water, and then you shake it, and then you water all your plants. And so this is a huge thing, is that you should not just water the plants that you think are infected. You have to water all the plants, and you have to water them consistently for a couple of weeks until most of the gnats are gone, or all the gnats are gone. And so that's what I've done and have been doing. And so that is how you get rid of gnats, is this: find a product with BTI as the active ingredient, and then consistently water with that until all the gnats are gone. And the BTI is not damaging to the plant roots. It does not affect them at all. It also does not kill beneficial bacteria, so you can literally use it to water your plants. And it also only kills the gnat larvae, which is fine, because you're continuously and consistently going to be killing those larvae. So it's basically like the population will have to decline because no new gnats are being born, which is so different from the hydrogen peroxide thing, because in between the waterings, because you can't water it all the time with hydrogen peroxide, some gnats are probably getting born, or like not even getting born, like hatching. Can we call it hatching? Anyway, so that is how I got rid of all my gnats, is using this product with BTI, and it's so great. It is so great. For all my South African people, I'll link up where I buy it. And yeah, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.